Hi, my name is Tubberville. I am with Tubberville Photography. I started my business in 2009. I had a lot of need for people to want to get their photos done and decided to go ahead and make it my full-time business. Since then, I am now a full-service photographer. I do weddings, senior pictures, family pictures, children's pictures, newborn pictures. I also have large accounts with schools, including school portraits, sports photos, and prom photos, and I do passports, as well as many other little things like headshots for hospitals, etc. A typical day for me is not very typical, to be very honest. So because of my job, I have a lot of different days that do different things. So on a day that I take wedding photographs, it's a very large, long day. So basically, I get up very early in the morning. I usually shoot from about 8:30 in the morning until generally about 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening. Um, and with the bride and groom and their family and friends the entire day. I require an assistant that day. So it's really busy. And there's a lot of detail into a wedding, a lot of organization, a lot of hours spent before the wedding preparing for that day so that everything runs very, very smoothly. That is probably the most time-consuming day I have. The next most time-consuming day I have is probably school portraits. That is another big full day, but very different day. I spend a lot of time with kids, making them smile in a very quick time period. I only have about 1 to 2 minutes to work with each kid. That's a lot of fun. I actually really enjoy school pictures. Typically, that's about 8 to 10 hours a day when I do those school photos. And then it comes down to like kids' photos and family sessions where they're only maybe an hour to 2 hours long. So that there is a lot of focus for a short amount of time, trying to make sure we get those little kiddos to smile and to do what we are wanting to do as far as the purpose of the shoot goes. I also, with prom pictures, that day is very difficult as far as the timing goes because we work around Grand March and we work around girls' hair appointments and all the logistics that go into prom. So that's a fun day. And then a passport photo on a typical day where I would do a passport photo, that's as simple as me setting up a white background and having my client come in and taking the photo. That takes no more than about 5 minutes of my time. And then obviously there's a little bit more time in the post-production side of getting the measurements and everything correct for the state. The most exciting thing about my job is just being able to work with the public. I really, really enjoy working with people. I enjoy being able to create moments on a picture that lasts forever. Unfortunately, I have had to do a lot of weddings and then turned around and had to do and provide photos for a family funeral. So you become really kind of involved with the families as you get to know them when you're working with people in my profession. I've had my business since 2009, so there's multiple families that I have done senior photos for and then turned around and done their engagement photos and then their family photos. I'm sorry, wedding photos and then family photos. So that's pretty exciting to be able to have those kind of long relationships. And that's definitely what I enjoy most about my career. My least favorite thing about my job is probably the follow-up that happens after production. So I take photos, and let's typically say I take photos for school pictures. then it is my job to basically make sure that those order forms were filled out correctly, make sure that payment was remitted properly, and then basically to make sure that we get all the photos to them and we get the right photos to them with the right names and the right school year. And sometimes this happens really easily, and sometimes there's a little bit of difficulty with this, but we always make it work. Sometimes trying to, because we do live in a very small community, I may have to chase people around a little bit sometimes, and get what I need for information for them. But that's just part of my job, and I really do love my job, so that's not that big of a deal for me. In closing, I would just say that I am very, very happy that I went into the field that I went into. I love my job. I love having the flexibility to be a really great mom of two girls and one on the way, and being able to just attend every single thing that they do, to be their biggest cheerleader. And my job allows me to do that because I can completely schedule every single part of my life around my kids, and that includes my business. So I have worked very hard for the last 11 years to have it be where my business does not control me. I can control my business. And for that reason, I have a very successful family life and home life. And I'm very blessed to be able to take wonderful vacations with my family and do things that I love, making memories with everybody, and at the same time having a really successful career. Thank you for your time.